All right. I'm going to hit it.
Get it.
Go ahead, man. What are you waiting for?
Welcome, everyone, to Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. This is the show where everything you want to know about Carnival Cruising happens. And today we've got Thomas Kennedy, Gary Manning, and Jennifer Roll.
Yeah.
One time.
Here we are.
Loud,
that was pretty loud.
If he needs to re-record over that, that's fine.
I'd let him do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. He said he quit the show, so I don't know if we're going to see any more of him or not.
He said he quit the show like every week, just like you did. You said he quit the show, and look at you here.
Well, I had to battle Madison in the trenches to come back, so that's why my title on my
unplug her.
Listen, man, she's getting some battery backup or something because it got serious this time.
So how have y'all been this week?
I'm great. What about you, Miss Cheesecake?
I'm having a good week.
I thought cheesecake was one word.
Yeah.
Not the way I do it.
Oh, okay. You're a cheesy cake? Is that what you are? You're a cheesy cake. Okay, I get it.
The funfetti is just sprinkles. That's all.
I'm just telling you as well. I'm coming off of something with like walking pneumonia or something. I got a lot of congestion in my chest, so I'll be hitting that mute button throughout the night. So you'll see me cough off stage or whatever. But anyways, I'm okay though. That's why I got that little grovel in my voice.
So I had a win today in therapy.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. I'm able to touch my pinky to my thumb.
What?
Nice.
Yes, sir. Check that out.
Nice.
What is that? That's what's up, man. Yeah. That's awesome.
Small steps, man. I kicked my sister out. I told her to go home. I told my brother-in-law there's no returns on her anymore. I fixed her as best as I could.
Gotcha.
But he's already calling me saying that, she's still messed up.
Oh, no.
I can't help that,
I will say it might have something to do with that Uber ride to the concert 2 weeks ago.
That was an interesting Uber ride. I don't even know how she ended up on the floor.
That's all we got to say right there. We just leave it right there.
And she was sober. That's the thing.
Is it? So that's it. Well, maybe that's a story for another time, man. Jen's looking at us like, what in the world? It was a fun night. We'll just say that much, Jen.
Oh, no, I want to hear the story. Just the
memories were made, according to his sister. We won't say her name. I don't know if I can or not. So
go ahead. But, her name is Maria.
Miss Maria. Yeah, Miss Maria said that memories were made, and that's what she put in her own Facebook post. So hey,
Yeah, she somehow on the ride there, we were in this big Explorer thing. And she ended up on the floor in the third row seating. I don't know how, but she did.
Gravity.
Gravity. It got a hold on me. I don't know. I can't sing that. I gotta sing that.
So do we want to bring back something that we haven't done in like 19,000 episodes?
Oh my goodness. What would that be, sir?
Two truths and a lie.
Oh, wow. That would have been good to know back during the pre-production meeting, but hey, we can do it. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like winging it right now because,
all right.
Trevor just quit like that, and so, it is what it is.
Gotcha.
This is improv, podcast improv.
Yeah.
Yes. And
so I'll let one of y'all go first. Let's see what y'all got.
All right. Well, I'll go because I don't know what Gary's doing. We let him come back, and he just is being strange. All right. So gearing up.
I'm still having some TBI issues from Madison. So.
Oh, she got you good, huh?
She did. It was horrible.
Well, gearing up for the holidays, got all my travel plans squared away, almost all of my gifts done, and couldn't think of something, like want to get something special for the fam, something they couldn't get otherwise, something exotic, something super fancy. So we had some Buc-ee's beaver nuggets shipped in because California does not have a Buc-ee's, and unlike y'all that have them every 4 blocks. So I got this giant box, and my daughter was so excited. She's like, this big box, and it's really heavy. And
what?
Assumed it was for her.
Hold on.
Gary's the only one who lives near a Buc-ee's.
Oh, I just assume you all I just assume Buc-ee's is like my Starbucks.
No,
you ordered Buc-ee's and paid like all that exuberant price when I'm like 20 minutes down the road from 3.
Well, next year, Gary.
Oh my
goodness.
Next year.
It wasn't.
And you ordered what?
The
beaver nuggets.
The beaver nuggets.
Gosh. Did you at least get like the
which
caramel
flavor?
Just like
all right, this is a lie. Okay, moving on.
The original flavor. So, I don't know.
See, exactly. See, we've caught her. She's lying.
I'm a beaver nugget magnate now.
So.
Oh boy. Okay.
So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I had kind of a promiscuous past, and I recently found out that I have an 18-year-old child that I didn't know about, and just knocked on my door. I don't know how they found me, but she's 18 years old. Her name's Liz. And apparently she's been promiscuous because she's pregnant. So I'm about to be a grandfather, all in this short amount of time. So
wow,
she wants me to like give her money. I'm like, I just had a stroke. I don't have a lot of money, and she, just ran off. But before she ran off, she gave me her phone number. But she said I'm just a deadbeat, so I'm kind of hurt right now.
18 years. I mean, that's just crazy, man. That is insane.
I know, man.
Hopefully you'll be able to get the mend and get to see your grandchild that you didn't even know that you had a daughter. And man, I'm looking forward to the further updates of that. All I can tell you is like, I didn't know I had to check in for my cruise. I didn't know that I had a daughter that was 18 years old. I forgot literally to check in for my cruise that I have coming up in 7 days.
The cruise you give us an update for every single week?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. The cruise that I give you an update for every single week. And so right before
missing an entire child.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean,
so I right before, I've been on my computer doing some stuff. I've got a client that's asked me to do a design for their wedding cruise. And so I'm doing that for them. I'm going to put it on some door hangers and such and such. But while I was doing that, I was like, oh crap, I got to go check in, because Trevor texted me a couple days ago and he was like, hey, have you done your check-in yet for your cruise? And I was like, oh no, I forgot. And he was like, seriously? And I was like, yes. And he's like, you need to get on it. So, and today, sitting at my computer, I just remembered. So I just checked in. Got a 1:30 boarding time. So,
but you like the later boarding, right? So
I personally love, yes. I personally love the on time, the early boarding. The only issue is that we are picking Megan and Trevor up from the airport on Tuesday of next week. And then we're staying in Orlando for Tuesday night, and we're leaving Orlando Wednesday morning because our cruise is next Wednesday, and we're driving over. So that means that if he wants to be on the ship early at 10:30, like he normally does, he's platinum and has all these benefits and stuff. then that means Teresa and I are going to be waiting like 3 hours at the port to get on the ship.
Well, if Trevor hadn't quit the show, I wouldn't say this, but since he's gone,
Okay,
I might
do tell.
suggest that you could tell his entitled self to catch anymore.
Mhm.
Are you guys in catching out of Canaveral or?
Yes. Yeah, we're going on the Carnival Venezia.
Venezia.
It's first, I want to say it. Yes, it is. It is his first cruise out of Orlando or Port Canaveral.
Okay.
It normally cruises out of New York. And I actually have some friends right now that are on that cruise. It's on a 12-day rather, relocation cruise from New York to Port Canaveral. And they're having a blast. They said the ship is fantastic. You may or may not know her. Her name is Diva Q. She's the queen of barbecue. So her name is Danielle. But yeah, she is her and one of our other mutual friend or one of her good friends that I also know that we met on the Horizon a few years ago. And so when we just stayed in touch. But yeah, she's on there now and just loving it up. So we're going to try to hook up and meet up. I shouldn't say hook up. We're going to try to link when they get off the ship and we get on the ship. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. You guys can kill time that way if need be, you know.
There you go. Yep, exactly. Maybe go over to her house there in Orlando and let her cook us some barbecue or something. That's a good idea. But anyways, so yeah, that's it.
If she can get the barbecue done before you're supposed to leave.
Yeah, well, awesome. This, yeah, I'll have to make sure. Yeah, that's true. She may have something in the freezer or something. Who knows? But anyways, no, my truth or lie was that I did just remember to check in. The Diva Q and all that stuff, that's legit because you can go on her Facebook page and see all that. So,
yeah.
But anyways, there it is. So what do they need to do, Tom?
What do they need to do? Well,
T-Swizzle. You're just taking the...
Oh, you guys changed it back to T-Swizzle?
I didn't change anything. I didn't change
anything.
Nah, because I changed it to the dude.
Oh.
But so what you're going to do is you're going to log into Facebook, go to facebook.com and search for Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. Look for the group. And either I or Trevor or Mr. Gary will post a poll and you vote to see which one of us lied today, either me, Jen, or Gary. And we won't say who, but you know.
I know who it was. Trevor.
It was Jen. Yeah.
It was Trevor.
Oh, yeah. Trevor.
Yeah. The spirit of Trevor.
Definitely Trevor. Yeah. But, you know, and, you know, while you're there, why don't you join? You know, Gary lets everyone in, doesn't even check their credentials anymore. You know,
you have to join to be able to vote. So
it is a free for all.
So free for all. Yeah, kind of. So speaking of free, let's talk about cruising on a budget, shall we?
That's a great transition.
Was that a good?
I've never. Oh, I'll take
that. That was amazing, right?
Yes, I have had a free cruise as well. I can tell you what's not free right now. Well, I say, did you know? I know you guys talked about it last week, and I just want to bring this up because now what you guys reported last week, before we get into cruising on a budget, what you reported last week is now fake news.
It's not fake news. It's news delayed. But go on.
It's delayed. We were going to talk about that too.
I'm just
it's
saying.
Delayed by.
I'm just saying.
Months.
You guys said that when Jen cruised in 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, she was going to have to pay, was it $40 extra per person?
$10 extra per person.
And now,
per port.
Now that's not
those people who go to, you know, Puerto Vallarta and Cabo, you know, they're going to have to pay, you know, $84 a person. You know,
not anymore. Not at least for the next 6 months.
Well, not for 6 months.
So, yeah, not until July 1st.
So my question is it only the west coast of Mexico, or is
no? It's all of Mexico.
It's going to be Cozumel, Costa Maya, and on the Yucatan,
Progreso. Yeah, it's going to be all. It's only for cruisers. You can still like fly in or drive in or walk across the border, and you
Yeah, to
don't have
use
to
a
pay
port
that.
though. Yeah, it's a port
Yeah,
tax. Yeah, it's a port tax.
yeah,
Yeah, just like me staying in a hotel. Every time I stay in a hotel, I pay a hotel tax.
yeah.
Oh goodness. But
And
yeah,
then
okay.
$42 for
Per port.
per port per person for say
So
like
in
the Mardi Gras.
2026, Marty,
Uh-huh.
2026, when we do our Carnival Cruising Podcastaways group cruise,
Hmm.
we are looking at going out at, well, we are going out of either New Orleans or Galveston. That's what the cult voted on.
Yeah.
So I don't know what technical percentage it is, but in my statistical brain, I'm going to say 87.89% of cruises that go out of those two ports go to
Go to Mexico.
only Mexico.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
typically they're going to Cozumel and Costa Maya, and then either in like Roatan, right? So,
Mhm.
or they go to Cozumel, Belize, and Roatan.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're going to go to Cozumel. So that means that now on our Carnival Cruising Podcastaways group cruise in 2026, that you will be able to vote for coming up this week on our Facebook page. Just so you do know, we are going to have our results posted there. But if we choose Cozumel, there will be an extra additional added to $42 per person for if we stop in at least Cozumel, and if we go to Progresso, then $84.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
just to put this in perspective on how much their Mexico is looking to make, the average ship like the Dream
Okay.
Class and up is I'm going to say
Carnival,
is
right?
yeah, it's 3,500 people. That's
Ooh,
the
okay.
so I'm going to say that. So if they're not any bigger than the Dream Class, you're looking at 47,000 or $147,000 or more
Per ship.
per ship.
Dang
Yeah,
it, man. We're in the wrong business, fellas and lady.
yeah, and I mean I'm
Should
just
be in the port
that's
tax
just
business.
We should be in the port tax business.
Let's get ourselves a port.
Yes, we need to go
well.
down
Hey,
into Mexico, buy some land, and make a country, and then charge our own port tax.
there
Step
was
one,
there
make
was
a new
a
country.
one cruise
Exactly.
one cruise we did. I was we stopped in Belize, and I was like,
Hmm.
there's an untapped market here. It's a 20 25 minute tender ride from the ship to the pier.
Hmm.
Why not have a boat with air conditioning and bar service? So you're
Hey,
making money from the cruise ship and from the adults.
there you go. Yeah. And down there it's 18. So I mean, hey, I would imagine, I don't know what
Yeah,
it is. I shouldn't say that. It may or may not be. I'm pretty sure Belize though was 18. Heck, it might even be
yeah.
16.
So, but
Anyways.
now they're building that island, and taking basically taking away tenders, I guess.
Hmm.
So if it ever gets open, but
You
Yeah,
know,
that's whoo, man. That's a good idea though. I'm checking the legal drinking age in Belize right now.
we could get our little port uh, bar restaurant. Instead of it being three amigos, it could be 4 or 5 podcast hosts.
Quattro gente.
three
Can you
dudes
say
and a chick.
3
three?
dudes and a chick. Sometimes 4.
The legal
Yeah,
drinking
sometimes
age
four
is
dudes.
18 in Belize. Just so you want to know that. I know. So, but yeah, so that's neat though. I mean, I'm glad that we were able to debunk y'all's fake news from last week and know that
Hmm.
Mexico is not going to be charging $42 per, per
Thanks for
cruiser
keeping us
right
honest,
now.
Gary.
I mean, I'm just here to make
Yeah,
sure that we stay above board and we don't turn into some of those other, podcasts that Trevor runs. So, anyways, all right. So
Filthy
now,
liars.
now let's do the cruising
cruising
on a
on a budget.
budget.
So there's a couple things that ways that you can cruise on a budget. Winning a
Okay.
free cruise is one of them, but that's few and far between. Let's talk about things
Free
you can
cruise.
do to just like keep your expenditures down on a cruise, like taking advantage of the bringing a 12-pack of soda on per person and replenishing that at every port.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that saves you a lot in $4 sodas from the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly. That will be 100% true.
mm-hmm.
So I
And
typed in Google odds of winning. I said odds of getting. Let me change it to winning so I can get a better result. But go ahead, continue on. I'm sorry to interrupt. I've been away for a couple of weeks, man. It's hard for me to keep it going.
oh, you're fine. Then you got cruise cash. You can buy cruise cash. If I don't know if any of y'all have ever done that. It's like you know pre you're loading preloading your account because cruise cash you just put it on your account and use it. So
Yes. Cruise Cash, though, has 3 different options, or well, even more than that. But there's 3 main options that you can do. So
mhm.
you can put Cruise Cash for bar only. You can do Cruise Cash for pictures, and you can do Cruise Cash General Fund.
Yeah.
And so you have different areas of Cruise Cash. Now, if you put the Cruise Cash for just bar only, then that means you can only use it in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mhm.
make it Cruise Cash for pictures, that means you can only use it for pictures. But you can also choose to put a Cruise Cash under like the quote unquote general fund, which is non-specified, and you can just use it for anything. So, and then at the end of your cruise, you can cash out that Cruise Cash and get it all back if you don't use it.
That is
I didn't know you
fake
could do that.
news,
Yeah, that's new
everybody.
to me.
New to me
Oh,
too.
well,
Jen, you
maybe I
got
just
Because
anything?
it's
lied.
fake.
Maybe I lied.
Oh, fake news, fake news, fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. I do know that you do not lose your cruise cash, though. I will say that. I think they might send you a. I'm pulling up the
Pull it
information
back on
now.
like a gift card, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
So
Well,
cruise cash.
while you're looking that up, since you said the magic word gift card,
Oh.
I'm going to jump in with my favorite way to keep a budget, and that is to purchase gift cards from sites like AARP because you can
Mm-hmm.
get those gift cards at a discount. So when I used to do it, it was 10%, and it's less than that now. I think what is it like
It's 8% now.
8%, but that's still a pretty good
Yeah.
saving. And so I
Yeah.
used that. I purchased Carnival gift cards. That's how I paid for last year's cruise.
All
And
right. Let me
also,
interrupt real quick, Jen. Hold that
yeah,
thought because I know our listeners are screaming at me right now
they're
through their phones and
gripped.
through they cruise cash is non-refundable and any unused credits will be forfeited.
Oh,
Also,
Ooh.
cruise cash purchases are limited to $500 per cabin.
okay. That is important.
So
That is very important to know.
yep, there you have it. See, and that's what we're here for. But like I said before, you have bar, general, photo, entertainment, Effie, Build a Bear workshop. All of those different ones can be used for cruise cash. So there you have it.
There you have it.
Any money put into it will be forfeited, though. Don't listen to the guy just a few minutes ago that said you can get it back. He was lying.
That was a different person. That was wrong, Gary.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fake news, Gary.
Yeah.
That was the Madison tortured Gary.
So go on with your your
Yes.
gift
Oh,
card.
Gift
so
cards.
as we used gift cards, we paid for the whole cruise that way. We paid for our excursions, our photo package, and saved like 10%. So that was you feel like you're getting away with something. Now it'd be saving 8%. Still worth the effort, I think.
I mean, 8,000 or 8% on a $2,000 cruise. I mean, you're talking what, $16?
Okay,
Yeah.
easily.
Just kidding. 160, but just kidding. But
Which you can put towards your drink tab.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to
And
go back
then
and do math on my phone and make sure that it is at $16.
it'd be $8 for every $100. You save $8 every $100.
It's $160. I was right. Yes. Questioning. I'm telling you, Madison has my brain all miscontorted.
We are a cruising podcast, not a math podcast.
This is true. My wife might be a math teacher, but that's where this stops with me.
So another thing that I would recommend, if you guys don't want to do a cash account, but you still want to live on a budget and you want to you can get a prepaid credit card or gift card, from like a Visa gift card, and
Okay.
put your what you want to spend on that card, and you'll be able to use that as for your account purchases. You can take cash off of it if need be for ports and stuff. But
Right.
that is another way, because if you put your debit card on there, you're going to have a hold on that, after you get off
Yes.
the thing, and then freak out whenever you forget that you have a hole and that they're going to put a hole on it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see it like got double charged, even though one of them's going to fall off. Just
Exactly.
prepaid Visa card.
A few hundred episodes ago, we talked about that, where a gentleman or a female had put her or his debit card on file and was complaining because they had over $2,000 or something like that on their debit card taken out of their bank, and it was still on hold, even though Carnival had already paid for it. And we talked, so go back, check that out, listen to that. That was a few thousand episodes ago. But yes. So my tip is, cruising on a budget for me means, well, two things. A, pre-buying all of the stuff that I think that I'm going to do on the ship before I get on the ship, because you're going to save money that way. You're going to save money when you pre-buy your drink package. You're going to save 10% on that. You're going to save money on your photo packages, because you're going to say, you're going to save money on your Wi-Fi package, pre-booking it before you get on the ship. And also now Carnival has started up a little combo thing to where you can do like the drink package and a spa thing, or Wi-Fi and spa, and they give you a little bit of a discount on your spa purchase. So that's even an extra wave. So if you want to get into the spa, I know Trevor's wonderful wife, Megan, she likes to get on the ship on the embarkation day and go to the spa and set up some stuff, because you get special deals on port days in the spa, and you can kind of wheel and deal in there for that time. But I do know also you can still get a little bit. It's probably not as good a deals. I'm not a spa person. Obviously, I don't really care to be pampered. But I will tell you this, though. I am going to get my, I don't know if you want to call it beard or goatee or whatever, braided while I am in Nassau in a few days.
I did that at Mr. Sancho's in Cozumel.
Okay.
So
yes, and also something going back to what we were talking about earlier. You said you could get a free cruise, and that is the ultimate cruising on a budget. Your odds in getting a free cruise range in anywhere from 1 in 1,000 up to 1 and over 1 million. It all depends on how many people are putting into that cruise, lottery, but also just, we have a listener on the Podcastaways live show that we have. I call her Tom Tom. Her name's Tam Tam. But she put in a lot of money in her first cruise when she went, and she played a lot of casino time, and she's gotten some pretty good casino offers from that. So if you have the money to spend up front, it can pay residuals in the back end on you when you do get to go into the casino and get some casino offers.
Now, the bad thing about casino offers now is if they're, like really cheap or free, they don't go towards your VIP anymore. Before they did.
Yep. But how important really is your VIFP? I mean, I know that's a completely different topic, and possibly that's something we could talk about at another time. But honest and truthfully, I mean, when you turn that silver color, really all you get is an ability to go to a special room and possibly get a bag of laundry done. I mean, yeah, anyways, I think I'd rather have a free cruise.
Yeah, but anywho,
That's my take. Sorry, I know it's not popular, but that's me.
it I don't know. I don't brag about it like Trevor does, but and I've only been on one platinum cruise,
Hmm.
so
Oh, I guess
I
you get to
mean,
go to that one little party where they give you a couple drinks.
and they give you a gift, which everyone's complaining about a ball cap, which I love ball caps. I have a collection of ball caps.
I have a huge collection of ball caps, and I would really enjoy getting to it. But Teresa has never worn a ball cap in her life. What's she going to do with it?
Yeah, true.
Give it away as a Christmas present? It's like ordering Buc-ee's online or something. I mean, please.
All right. So also, man. All right. So setting a daily budget, and this works especially well for families with children.
Mm-hmm.
Set your children on a daily budget so they don't go hog wild on your credit card.
Mm.
Um, like I've had friends whose children just up and decided to rent video games on the TV and ran up
Woo!
used all of their money in less than 24 hours. So give your
Oh,
children
wow.
a spending limit as well as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
there's
right.
nothing quite like that shock of, you did what in the arcade?
Yeah, yeah. I will tell you this too. Make sure if you want to cruise on a budget, you put your phone on airplane mode as
Oh
soon
yeah.
as you get away from the land. As soon as you notice that some people do it as soon as they get on the ship. Yeah, I could be a little bit more responsible than that. And I can remember that when I don't see land anymore and that cell service is starting to fade on my phone, then I'm putting my phone in airplane mode because as you could tell, if you're a member, I've noticed a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot of here recently, though, there's been some posts in some of these cruise groups that I'm not a member of because people keep asking me about them, about people who are getting extra exorbitant, right? Is that I guess that's a proper term, phone bills because they forgot to put their phone in airplane mode. And they thought that since they were still on the ship's Wi-Fi, that they weren't using, their data package. And no, that's not the case.
Well, also I see that some people are like, well, I have a cruise plan. Well, that still uses the cell tower that's on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
that I don't know how those cruise plans work,
I've
but
never heard of one, but yeah, they say they have them. So I think they mean their international plan is what I think that they think that they're talking about.
yeah.
And because I know I have my plan does come, my old plan came with what they call travel pass. I'm with Verizon. And so I've got a travel pass day every month, get 12 a month, 12 a year, I should say. Teresa gets 12 a year. So we have 24 days that when we're outside of the United States in certain countries, we can use our phone. But now our new plan, it just basically gives us unlimited because it's part of it. But maybe those people are thinking that's what they have. I'm not real sure, but it makes it way better and makes it way easier because we get a little bit of data while we're on the islands or on the mainland if we're in Mexico. And then we have or Roatan or whatever. So it's nice and fun like that. So that's another way to cruise on a budget is to make sure that you do have a quote unquote international plan on your cell phone whenever you're leaving. You pay for it throughout the year, maybe a little bit more, but when you're there on land, it makes it a little bit easier and a little bit nicer for you.
Mm-hmm. Jen, you got anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll do some more. I mean,
wow.
I got some more. I got some more. So, I mean, the thing is when Teresa and I first started our YouTube channel, The Traveling Mannings, that was going to be one of our main things that we tried to focus on was cruising on a budget or cruising as inexpensive as possible. And so ways to do so are to make sure that you book early. Okay. Make sure that you look in and you get those. You may have to book a year or even 2 years out because of the way that these things are starting and everything like that. And if you live near a port or you have that opportunity to go on a last minute cruise, you might be able to jump in and get a little bit better price. However, we have learned, and our friends over at Have Luggage Will Travel have talked about this on their channel. They're noticing that when that cruise gets to almost capacity, the rates go up even higher, and and they stay that way all the way up until it's time to cruise, because they've made their money on their 99% of occupancy. Yep. Right. And now they're going to make even more money. So why not try to make even more money and push forward and get through that? But I haven't noticed, because I haven't looked at any last minute cruises here recently. But several years ago, back pre-pandemic, that was one of those ways is you could catch a cruise. If you knew that you were wanting to cruise on Saturday and it was Thursday, you could get in there and you could find a 3-day, 4-day cruise literally for like $160. Be under $300 for both people with taxes and fees and everything. And so that was one of the best things and joys about pre-pandemic, but it's not happening. I don't know. Shouldn't say that it doesn't happen anymore. Cruising is in full effect. Cruising is back. Cruising is becoming very popular. And so with that being said, you need to start booking out a couple years ahead of time now. So, and then also another way to save money is with our group cruise in 2026. We're looking at comparing cruises, because we're going to have a June/summer cruise, and then we're going to have an October and a September option. September and October's for the exact same cruise, exact same itinerary, are $200 to $400 cheaper than what that June and July cruise is. And to cruise over a holiday, that extends your money even more. So like one of the cruises that I was looking at, we would have been on the ship over July 4th. That cruise was $150 more than the cruise the week before. Only because also of July 4th.
Going, September, October-ish, you're going towards the off season. So
exactly. Yep.
That they're losing. Other ways of doing it is like going through like smaller ports like Mobile or Norfolk or even Manhattan.
Why'd you have to go there? Why'd you have to say Norfolk? That's just mean.
Because I have family there.
That's just mean.
I have a place to stay for free if I go there.
Norfolk, man, that just. But all right. So other ways to save money: don't splurge. Don't try to be the Jens and Toms of this world and get a balcony cruise or a balcony room. You can go inside room and you can save a lot of money. Majority of the people who cruise, for like myself and other people that I know, 6-8 hours is all you're staying in that room per day. You still have 18 to 16 hours that you're still out of that room. Why do you want to spend an extra $400 per cruise for?
Because I'm claustrophobic. Because I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, the reason you're only spending 8 hours in your room is because you don't have a balcony to go on to.
Oh, you think so, huh? The thing for me and personally, and this is what I say all the time when people say, why do you get an inside room? Why not get a balcony? Because the entire ship is a balcony.
Yeah, but you don't have to share your balcony with other people.
Man, listen,
Gary, I agree with you on you don't have, once you get on the ship, you don't have to spend a single extra dollar if you don't want to.
This is true.
Your food is taken care of. Your basic beverages are taken care of. You don't have to go to the steakhouse or
you don't.
You can if you want, but all of these things they're just little upcharges, and the
big upcharges now.
To get on that ship, all of your basic needs are covered. You don't need to spend $1 more if you don't want to.
That's right. Exactly right.
A lot of the specialty dining, with the exception of the steakhouse and maybe Rudy's, You can do a free lunches, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Definitely get a balcony though.
yeah,
Oh
balcony.
gosh.
I mean, I'll do interior or as not interior,
Ocean view.
ocean view, but you know
Yes.
the
Yes.
the interior I cannot do unless it's one of those like I
Oh,
was talking about last week, an interior room with a view,
yes.
you know, which is
The
up at the front.
hmm Yeah, for our cruise, our dudes cruise that we're going with in February of 2025, February 18th or 13th through the 18th is going to be a what were we even talking about? Sorry. It's going to be a ocean view room, the room that Trevor, I, and Brandon are getting. So we went ahead and did that because we did not want to have a Pullman for our 3 room. We could get a
Yeah,
bed and then have the 2 twins, and that way none of us had to climb up and get a Pullman for the for one of us to have to sleep on. So
that'd be scary.
wouldn't it though? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not going to see this man right here. And I've met Brandon. I went and ate lunch with him not too long ago. Trevor would be the one that would be getting up in that Pullman because he's the smallest out of all of us.
That'd be
So
some good content though.
Brandon is super tall, and he's losing a lot of weight. He's down. He's smaller than I am, but as tall as he is, like he would be like hanging out at each end of the Pullman type of thing. So
Oh, geez.
another way to make sure that you're saving money whenever you're cruising on a budget is look for sales. Okay. Carnival, I'm not going to dog them, but they don't have the amount or the nice sales that some of these other cruise lines do. I know that you can get into other cruise lines that are like from maybe meaning the Mediterranean Shipping Company, and that cruise line actually runs sales all the time where kids sail free. They give you a free balcony upgrade. They will give you a drink package. All of these things are included in their rates, and they truly are free. These are sales that they run all the time, and you can check them and make sure. But also, there's Norwegian, or whoops, there are other cruise lines that are not under, that aren't Carnival, that also will give you like they give you their free second guest. So if you were sailing with 2 people, your second guest is free. I know that I've looked into other nicer cruises that are more expensive, and they even include their airfare in their cruise fare.
Wow.
So, yes, I'm looking at a Viking cruise that will leave out of North Canada and go down to South America. And it is a 23-day cruise, 24 days, something like that effect. Might even be, it was right at 3 weeks, a little bit over 3 weeks. And they are going to fly me to Canada and fly me back from South America. And the cruise itself, though, for 2 people was like $15,000. So, but
So Viking is known for river cruises.
yes, but they
Is
also
this
do
going to be all river?
oceanics.
Okay.
No, it's oceanics. Yep, it's
Mhm.
oceanics. So you start off inside in North Canada, come out, and just go down the coast of the United States, go across over to Mexico, Central America, then come down and hit the top of South America and come through and go down. So it's really, one of them actually was a Panama Canal transit as well. And I was like, man, that would be so cool. But anyways, that's enough about those other cruise lines. This is Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. We're not supposed to be talking about other cruise lines.
Well,
Speaking of other cruise lines, though, did you know Margaritaville at Sea lets your veterans sail free? Also, first responders and teachers and healthcare. So you can get free cruises with Margaritaville at Sea. Another way to cruise on a budget.
yeah.
All you got to have is your ID.me account, and they will give you a free cruise.
Wow.
Yes. So I'm telling you guys, as far as cruising on a budget, I don't technically do it a lot, but I can tell you a little bit about it. I will tell you too. Another nice way to do what I do is I will go to what is called Afterpay, and I will right before I go on a cruise, and I'll get a $500 gift card through Afterpay. I pay $125 for it right then. Then I pay $125 in 2 weeks, and then I pay another $125 in 2 weeks, and another $125 in 2 weeks. So I have a 8-week period to pay off that $500 gift card that I'm using on the cruise while I'm cruising. So it's not necessarily cruising on a budget, but if you're tight on funds, it gives you a little bit of way to stretch out those funds a little bit.
Now, Gary, you had a John Heald thing this week, right?
Oh, I did find a John Heald post. This is actually goes back to last month. And I just thought that it was rather funny. Someone wrote into John Heald and was talking to him about it and was telling him that they were a platinum cruiser. And they felt that they deserved a special.
Wait, what did they say to John Heald? Don't make me come over there and fight you. I'll fight you.
I'm glad you had access to that because I didn't.
I don't know who had access to it. I don't know what you're talking about. But this person wrote John and says, if we are platinum, you said we can go straight to our room. They said, that is a lie, John Heald. We took our bags to our room. We had a 14-hour drive from Mechanicsville to Miami. They left off the I. My husband needed to sleep. Blank is our steward. He had no sympathy and bluntly told us to leave. This is another perk pulled from under our feet. Our steward's name is blank. Some person in authority needs to tell her. All right.
Well,
so
it's never been you can stay. You can. Oh, it's always been, you can access your room to drop, but you have to leave afterwards. And why would you drive 16 hours the day of your cruise? You take that chance of just like
14 hours, but yeah.
Or 14 hours, whatever. So you drove through the night and no sleep. That's your own fault right there for not getting a hotel and getting there the day before. That's just what I think,
I think they probably had. I don't know that they drove the 14 straight, but maybe they did. Who knows? 14-hour drive is a long drive. I've done them before, and by no means do I ever want to do it again. But let me tell you what John's Heald response was. Thank you. And of course, I understand that your husband was tired after a long drive like that. However, as others have been agreeing with you, and to make sure that I once again clarify this, please allow me to be as clear as possible. So obviously this was in his, posts of questions, concerns, or whatever, and then people were replying underneath it. And so his reply is, Diamond, Platinum, Faster to the Fun guest, those in suites, and anyone from Cleveland, Ohio, nah, just kidding, FFS, can go to their cabins as soon as they get on board. They can drop off their luggage, but please leave straight away. The cabins will not be ready to the high standard you will expect until approximately 1:30 p.m. Please then leave. Do not shower. Do not unpack. Do not take a nap. Do not do rumpy pumpy. And this is all to support the brilliant hard work of your stateroom steward. Thank you so much for your thank you so much again for your understanding, and cheers. I mean, time and time again, I almost feel like that old Cyndi Lauper song, Time After Time, right? People do not
he goes over
understand.
that. He goes over this like at least once a month.
It
Mhm.
seems that way. It seems that way. And it seems like we cover it. I think that we just talked about this because I remember listening and hearing Jen talk about something about don't go to your room. And I know that means you, like she was pointing at me or something. I don't know. But I remember hearing that in one of her takes not long ago where she talked about that. So maybe that was what not to do on a Carnival cruise. That's what that was. She says, "Don't go to your room early unless if you're platinum." Yeah, remember that's what it was. So, but that's the thing, though. I mean, John says it can, now for those that want to go in and drop off their bags, they're more than willing, they're more than able, they're more than welcome to do that. But that's all you do. And just ask your steward, hey, where would you like me to set my bags? Because sometimes part of the cabin's clean, part of the cabin's not clean. And so they're going to tell you, okay, well, we've cleaned this part over here. You can set your bags over here. Or if you wouldn't mind, leave them outside the door. We'll put them in the door. We'll put them in the cabin. How do I know all this? Well, it's just hearsay. Okay, let's just say that much.
It's always safe to stick them in the closet, though.
Yep. I was going to say, closet's always the way to go.
So wait, how do you know this, Jen? You're not platinum.
I'm not, but I get faster the fun.
Oh,
whenever possible.
You buy that, yeah. So you spend that extra.
That's
definitely not a way to
I'm
cruise.
the wrong person to talk about cruising on a budget with.
I was gonna say that's not cruising on a budget by no means. Is that yes? So spending that extra money because Faster to the Fun has gone up quite a bit. I've heard over the past.
Yeah,
and so it's just wow. I don't know. I've never done Faster to the Fun. I will say, though, that I may or may not have taken advantage of Faster to the Fun options in the past.
The closest thing I had to Faster to the Fun was Trevor's wedding, because we got to get on before the wedding party got to get on before anyone else. And we were paraded in front of everyone, and being like, yeah, we get on before y'all. Yeah, we'll think
stick
about
that chest out a little. Stick that chest out a little bit. Yeah.
But do we have anything else, guys?
I don't really have anything. Jen sounds very enthusiastic to say something.
I am. Well, because I have something to say from the bottom of my heart.
Okay.
Do say then, Jen.
One way to not save money. Don't do this.
Oh, this is not cruising on a budget.
No, this is people who are trying to cruise on a budget do this.
Oh, okay.
And we say it every week. Don't go take your gratuities off. That's not the way to save money. That is not the way to save money.
That, yes, Jen, you
don't. Just
man,
don't.
I wish I had a hammer and a nail right now because you definitely just hit the head on You just hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, you are so right. That is not a way to cruise on a budget. Do not remove your gratuities, even though it's an option. Do not.
Because we know.
Yeah.
And we'll judge you.
We will.
There's a special. I'm not going to go that far, but
no, there is a special place in hell for people like that. I'll say it for you. So, anywho,
I was going to say there was a special place in cruising karma for people like that. But.
Nah, it's a place in hell.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
that's serious.
Listen, man, I can't say that I disagree, honest and truthfully. I am very, one of our listeners contacted me one time and was talking about, that was one of their favorite things to do was remove gratuities. And I mean, I don't know if they knew that it was a trigger or what the case was, but I'm telling you right now, like I almost deleted the whole conversation right then. And they just replied real fast. Just kidding. And I was like, man, whew.
Were they just kidding?
I have unsubscribed. I'm not going to lie to you. I have unsubscribed from YouTube channels and completely blocked them out of my YouTube feed back when I was really into watching vloggers, whenever they even suggested about people removing gratuities from their bill.
if they want to remove gratuities, go to a cruise line that's already included in your fare.
Yes.
So,
And and they these people they justify it with all of these different things, and I'm sorry if you are one of those people who remove your gratuities. I hope and pray every person that you come in contact with, you're giving $1 or $2 or even $5 or whatever, because every single one of those people that you're coming in contact with, that's where those gratuities are going. It's not going. It's going to a lot of places, but it's going to those people. I will say this, and since we're on this gratuities kick, and I want to cover on this. Captain Kate. She is she's celebrity, I think. Is she a celebrity, or is she? I think she's a celebrity captain.
Yes, she's on Celebrity, I think. I'm pretty sure.
So it's either Celebrity or Norwegian. It's one of those two. A friend of mine shared one of her videos, and it was a video where a crew member had received $5 cash tip, and he was ecstatic, almost in tears, because he had received a $5 cash tip, and everybody was saying it was staged and faked and everything else. And so she goes back and she talks to this crew member about it, and she says, why was this $5 so so emotional for you, or so why were you so happy to get this $5? And he says, because $5 is a lot of money where I come from. And she was like, well, what will $5 get you back home? And he says, $5 will get me an entire box of potatoes. It'll get me a whole entire bag of rice. And he started listing all of these things that only $5 would buy. And it was astronomical compared to what we think about what $5 gets us here in the States. And so it brought into that perception, and it brought into just an awakening for me, as far as, I feel bad sometimes because all I have is just $5 to give somebody. But for them, that is a major, major thing. And you think about it, if they've got 20 people that they come in contact with over the course of that cruise at $5 a person, that's $100. They've got enough food to last them almost a whole entire month now. I know at one point in time I had a room steward, and they friend requested me on Facebook. I accepted because, he was excited because we were vloggers and things like that. And he was really big into YouTube and stuff like that. So I accepted his friend request. And a few months later, he was home on vacation, and he posted a picture of himself with a Coke can with a stick going through it, and it cut off at the top, and holding it over a fire, making coffee, because somebody had stole his coffee pot. And he talked about how angry and how mad he was that somebody stole his coffee pot, and now he had to make coffee using a Coke can. And I was like, oh my gosh, how crazy is this? I mean, this guy was just on the cruise ship, and now that shows you about why they're also so happy sometimes to be on the cruise ship, And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I screenshot it and I sent it to some friends of mine, and I was like, look, you ever wonder why we cruise? This is part of it right here. It's because we're able to somewhat, quote unquote, help these people who are off, having to use a Coke can now to make coffee with because somebody stole his coffee pot.
By the way, Captain Kate is on Celebrity.
Okay, good.
Because I just
on the she I know she's on the new ship. I don't think it's the Ascent. Is it called the Ascent, or did you look that part up?
I didn't look that part up. She doesn't have it on her. She doesn't have it on either her TikTok or her Instagram. On which ship it just says Mega Ship.
Got you. She's on the Celebrity Cruises Beyond. So all right, yeah. So she's on the Beyond. But anyways, but so yeah, that's the thing though, man. I mean, and so tips are so much more important, especially cash tips. Just make sure.
I usually Besides the prepaid gratuities, I generally give my room steward an extra 20, 25, and even though I don't go there every day, the main dining room servers,
Mm-hmm.
if I have assigned seating, we'll slip them an extra 20, 25. Um, Now, we did find the last cruise that we liked the your time dining, which we didn't have the same servers every night.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up feeling bad because we didn't tip all the servers that we
Right.
had.
Well, I will say, with your time dining, you can request, after that night, if you enjoyed that server, that night you can get done. You can say, hey, if I come back tomorrow, can I make sure to have so and so that I just had tonight? And they'll tell you, yes, we can. And so what will happen is, whenever you check in, you'll go down and you can, they'll mark your account. If you notice that you're in a different section, you can tell them, say, hey, I want to have such and such section. And then they'll put you over there, and it might just be a little bit extra weight, or if there's a table open, they'll immediately move you over there.
Okay.
So that is an option though for you, because that's Teresa and I. That's all we do is your time dining, and we always, if we enjoy that diner the first night, if we enjoy that server and his team or her team, because that's the thing too, right? Your room steward, they have another two. There's 2 or 3 people that work with them that you don't even see.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing with your dining staff at night. If there's 3 of them, typically, sometimes 4, that are taking care of you and taking care of that area. So your money doesn't just go to that one main person that you keep always talking to. They split it between those people who are part of their group.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, so that's it though, man. I think we got a good cover. We got a good, I mean, if you have any other further questions on cruising on a budget, head over to our Facebook group. I'll tell you what, just go to thepodcastaways.com, thepodcastaways.com, and you can have links to everything. You have our TikTok, you have our Facebook, you have our Instagram, you have our YouTube, you have our Spotify, you have everything there at your disposal. There's even some games that Trevor's put on there for you to play.
Mm-hmm.
You have links to our merch.
Very important.
That too. Yes.
Links to our merch.
So speaking of,
Hello, traveler. It seems you have found cruisingswag.com.
that's it. So cruisingswag.com. It's currently under construction because they're updating their website, but you can go to ccp.cruisingswag.com and you can get some CCP merch.
There you go. Wow, you've taken some dance lessons since last time I saw you.
Man, I'm just copying an old girl in that video right there. Chair dancing is one of my things.
Anywho, so I just want to let you all know that, remember, anything that happens on the ship stays on YouTube.
7 days for me. Who cares about that guy who quit the show? In 7 days, at this time right now, as I'm recording, who knows if I'll be recording again next week at this time, but I will be on the Carnival Venezia. Looking forward to one sleep and then waking up that next morning for the delicious, wonderful Carnival breakfast burrito.
And just know you're unique, you're special, and you are loved.
There's so much I can say. So much I want to say. There's so much in my heart right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to say 24 days till I'm on a cruise. There's no burritos, but I'll make do from my balcony.
Well,
You're unique, special. Toodles.
Adios.